Hi everyone, it's Linda here from Benja's Bead House with our weekly Facebook Live video. And this week we are going to continue on with the design project I shared with you guys last Friday and then shared some photos with over social media on the weekend as I was working on it. So you can see my progress on today's video and see what I'm doing next with it. But before we get to that, I thought I would share some fun new stuff that has just arrived, including something I'm using today. So I'm very excited it's all turned up. So last week I shared with you some of the new felt. So thank you to everyone who had fun with that over the weekend. We've sent out a lot of it, and I've got another stock delivery in transit at the moment to get out a few more of those orders and to do some restock. So very much appreciate that. It's been fun to see everyone's reaction to that. I've been enjoying working with that felt. You also saw me introduce the new faux leather range, and I've got a couple new colors in that to show you, as well as two other new fabrics which are up on the website, but the first delivery of them, some of the colors has arrived today. So I'm going to tip you guys down and we're going to have a little fun taking a look at some of the stuff that turned up, and then we'll go across to the project. So we're going to start with leather. So this is the new red that has just arrived. So you can see it's lovely, beautiful mid red. So yeah, kind of matte finish, a lot less shiny outside of the packaging here. The next up is of course purple, because I have to have purple. So it's a lovely, again, mid-tone pinky kind of purple. So I'm looking forward to working with that. And the last new color that I brought in out of that range so far is this lovely mid sapphire royally blue color. This was one color I was considering using with today's project, but something else that's arrived is a much better match, so we're going with that. So that is it for the leathers. Whoops, separating sticky books. Managed to get an empty folder. Put that across to the side and we'll fill that up with something new. This is the faux suede range that we launched at the same time as everything else. So it's kind of closer to ultra suede in its feel and kind of the texture on it. So there's a small number of colors in this particular range, and I have got another faux suede range that I'm working on. So the back, like all of them, is just a fabric back. So it's not double-sided like ultra suede, but it's lovely and soft. It's nice and thin, and we're going to actually be playing with this one today. So that's red. This is blue, which we're playing with today, and in real life it's really like the metallic suede blue check bead color, so I really love it, but I'm also loving the color variations in it. So yeah, that's what we're playing with today. We also have this in this gorgeous tealy green, so it's like a little bit different and a little bit brighter, and again you can see some of that texturing that's going on. Into the very classic colours to have. We have grey, which is always one of our best sellers in the ultra suede. So we have that back now in our faux suede range. And of course, black, because this was our number one seller in ultra suede. So we have black in stock as well. So, and again, you've got that lovely texture through that. Now, if you've taken a class or watched one of Paula's videos, you might have heard her talking about cork leather. I managed to find some. So cork leather is actual cork, but adhered to fabric. So it is on a fabric backing. This one is triangle metallic. So I will get it out so you can actually see it. So it is cork that's been stripped off a tree, adhered to a fabric, and then we've got some metallic printing going over top of it. So you get both dimensions. So yeah, this is triangular metallic. So it's gold triangles printed on the cork background, just like, a little bit special. We've got a dot, so you've got this lovely mirage of dots, and this is really, really matte once you get it out behind the sheen. So you've got this lovely little patterning of black dots. It kind of reminds me of like leopards. And this is really, really, really thin. This is like 1/2 mil thin. Paula in her videos has beaded on top of this, so that then this is part of the design, and she has also used it as a backing fabric. So it's got some versatility to it. You could, glue this stitch straight on top. I mean, this is like 1/2 mil thick. It's really, really fine. You could either glue it onto some felt, work through that so you've got that stiffness support as well, or bead straight on top of this and then, work it onto a backing. So lots of opportunities to play. So that's dot. Then we have a zebra, so you're getting, lovely line work. So out of the plastic, you've got your zebra. This does have kind of like little goldy metallic-y flecks through it as well. So just a little bit special extra sheen in that one. And then lastly, we've got more what reminds me of traditional cork. So, your cork wood style grain pattern, and this one has little flecks of silver in it as well. And there is a gold version like this as well, which is available on the website for you guys to order in, and then I will order it in. So, yeah, that is our cork leathers. It has a very different feel, I will say. It is a smooth texture. But it does remind me of, running your hand on the cork heat mats that you might have in your kitchen. Mum said it reminded her of a cork handbag, leather handbag that she's got, and I dare say it's probably similar fabric. So yeah, looking forward to playing with this at some point in the not too distant future. It is very, very different. So something, fun and different for you guys to play with for your backings, or in that case, to also think about for your front. Lastly, the other thing that's just arrived in, and I've had requests for this, and I haven't got it up on the website yet because I've literally only just opened the box. This is the new fire line scissors. So from Bead. So literally, I just got the box. They are like my Trojan scissors that you might have seen. They have little grooved teeth just along here, so I'm not going to run my fingers too far along them. Let's see if I can't focus that without killing everything. So there's this little grooved serrated teeth. Might be able to pick that up, yeah. So it is like my Trojans in that way. Can't say I've tested them on cutting it because I literally have just unpacked the box before I went to live, but wanted you guys to see that we do have them. They are a stainless steel, cuts, holds in the hand nice and easily. So these would be your new thread scissors. I will get these guys up on the website either tonight or over the weekend, so that they can be in the shop for tomorrow and then online after that. So yeah, that's the new craft scissors. So that lovely serrated edge, just for threads, not for cutting, cork and everything else. Go buy a pair of craft scissors for that, because we don't want to destroy good thread scissors. So to my design project, so you can see I've now changed to blue thread, which I've embedded in, and I didn't glue down here so well, so I've attached my thread. And this is where I got up to. So when you last saw this, I was just starting to do my bezel. I've since added a layer of cup chain next to the bezel in, this was actually in the peach box last year, I think, or the year before. So it's a peachy coppery tone to draw out that copper that's in there. And then I've got champagne Miyuki along here to draw out that gold, matched with the Aztec gold 3mm Drukes along here. And then I had a little fun with teacups, which is what these guys are on the size. Normally you'd see them used the other way round because they are literally like a half bowl or a half round. And they do have a hollow side that you can drop a seed bead into on the other side. But I decided to do them upright, so that I guess you've got the dome effect up, and just P-code those with the champagne. So you had another little pop of champagne along the edge. And as I said, I've picked the matty suede leather because I really think it goes well with this metallic blue suede colour. So it was nice and easy to cut with when I did this earlier this morning. But I'm just going to grab my baby Trojans because my big ones are huge. So by me Trojans, bunning scissors. I think it's about $10 for the pack of, you get about small and a large pair. Very, very handy to have. And I'm just going to cut that suede backing off, trying to keep it in line with my felt and keep it as a clean edge as I can. And I've gone a little off there. So I forgot. That's what happens when I don't hold my scissors in one place and move my piece. Moving my scissors, I tend to get a messier cut. So we're just going to take it nice and slow. Thankfully, I did not cut my thread. Oops, getting my thread now out of the way again. So we're just going to continue to cut. Sorry, just paying careful attention. And that is, my cut. So I now have my lovely matty blue suede back. And this is the KO denim thread. Now, I have ended off my Crucify one I was working with last week. I like the fact that this is very, very close. Yes, I will see stitches, but it's not going to be as obvious as if I was using Fireline. However, it will be very obvious with the copper, the rose gold demi rounds that I'm planning to use for my edging here. So I will do a picot with the original blue, so that this way when I look at it, I've got champagne color kind of referenced 3 times. This coppery color is going to be referenced twice, and you'll have the blue in a number of different ways, but this blue will be repeated twice. And for me, that blue is kind of repeated here. So you are picking up everything a couple of times. It's really only this, Aztec that is a little bit different to Champagne, but Champagne is a very close match. It's just more shiny. Unfortunately, in the Miyuki cooperatives, they don't release that color in a 15. I am asking because I know Paula certainly would like to see it, and I would certainly like to see it too. So I will keep you guys updated if we actually manage to get that to happen. But for now, that's only in the 8 and the 11. And they are in stock at the moment. So just like we've done for the last couple of these that you've seen me do, I am just piercing my needle through my edge, and I put on a ridiculously long thread. So this is going to be a fun process for me. I have picked up 2 of my demi rounds. I am working with a size 8. If I had had some time to think about this in advance, I might have gone to see if there was a check in this color in the O-ring range and brought that in. I haven't, and it's something I will look at to see if it is available, because I think it'd be fun to have those guys as edging options as well. So just as I've done, I'm just going to brick stitch this edge around. And as I said, that blue thread is going to be really, really, really visible. And I'm just going to try and zoom in so you guys can see. Whoa, that's probably too much zoom. Sorry, the control for that is under my computer, so it's a little harder to control at the moment. I wish this camera had a remote control some days, but it doesn't, but that's okay. So we can see there, and we'll try and get you to refocus. Okay, so you can see I've got my gold, my coppery rose gold going to be sitting on the edge, and that blue thread is really, really visible. That's where I'll pick up and do a picot through that, so that it doesn't become as visible further on. So to do my edge the way we have been doing it, as I said, through the past couple of videos. And I like, the brick stitch edge is a very traditional edge for your bead embroidery work. Whether or not you set it up this way, I have seen other videos where people are just using sequins and beads and all sorts of stuff. But the philosophy of the brick stitch edge is pretty much the same, in that you're just creating your space. I'm trying not to pierce my, not to upset the teacup bead there. Excuse me. And I'm just going to thread. Oops, gone off camera. Sorry about that. So zoomed in, it's hard to know where I need to keep this. So we've got one in, and normally I'd be actually looking at the back of this to see where, how deep my thread's going, but I don't want to move it around too much when I'm on this really zoomed in perspective. So we are just picking up, oops. And so you can see there I've got the start of my edge. We might do a couple more. Make sure I'm still on camera. Yep. Yes. Try and get through that felt and not annoy that bead. The great thing is the felt is really easy to run your needle through. This fabric is not really thick either. I think it's either half a mil or as in 0.5 mil or 0.7 mil thick. So it's very, very fine, whereas that felt is 2 millimeter thick. So you can see the difference there in that depth. So you're not adding a huge amount of bulk to your backing, which is great. But if you were, wanting to stitch on top of this, you certainly could. As I said, I would probably glue it down onto something, just so I had that backing, so I'm not, like puckering this. But, you know, that's one of those ones of let's experiment and see how we go. And we might do that a little later on. Okay, so we'll just get this one on. So as I said at the top, I knew I would see this color thread, and normally you've got a choice. You can either match, you can see my very uneven stitching, so that's because I am stitching this blindly without looking. I will be undoing that to get them closer to this tiny stitch, rather than that very exaggerated stitch. That's a personal decision. I like to have my backs as clean as I can. Um, and normally I would actually work it so that if I'm doing this as if I was at home doing this, I would be stitching this way so I can actually see where I'm putting my needle in rather than working from, the top view. But I was trying to show you guys how this was all looking. Um, the blue thread was selected so that it's minimal here. If I stuck with a crystal file line, that is really going to stick out. So you've got a choice of you either try and match your thread to the back here to the best color match that you can, and this is the best that I could find. This is, as I said, the denim from KO. You know, a navy thread might have been better. I don't know if black would have been better, but I'm going with the denim. And as I said, I'm going to restitch, try and get this as small as I can. And I know that this is going to show up here. So I had two choices. I either could have picked the natural, which is going to blend into the beads, and then I wouldn't have had to do anything, but it would have been more visible here, or pick a thread that's going to blend better here, but be visible here. So because I know it's going to be visible here, I would do a little picot edge to cover that thread with the blue bead that I used along here, so that I'll pick that color up again. And we'll cover that little thread bridge. So that's just something to think about when you are working. So I did all of this in Fireline, and as I finished off, I'm just going to zoom back out so you can see it all in one. Oops, now we've gone the wrong way. As I said, the controller for this is buried under my computer. So the whole surface piece got done in Fireline, because that's my favorite go-to thread. As I'm now doing my edge, I have switched to a colored thread, and it's something you just need to make. It's one of those design decisions you need to make, whether you're going to match to this or whether you're going to match to these guys. So I chose to match to the back, and then we'll do a picot to cover that thread path. So that means, as you'll see here, you can see just that little extra pop of the rose gold to try and match into that rose gold and pick up some of the copper. And then I'll just have a couple, little blue beads poking out to give it just a little picot instead of this completely flush finish. And that will cover up that blue thread. It's not hugely noticeable. And I'm sure the person that this is going to be, that is intended for, wouldn't notice it. I'm noticing it, so I am going to do that picot edge just to cover it. So yeah, that is where I'm up to with, my current little design challenge, that's getting me out of my delicate design zone. So I've been very much enjoying just, playing with lots of other beads. And that is where I'm up to. And I've been grateful for all of your comments and thoughts as I've been playing around. And I hope you've enjoyed me playing around with this one as well. And yeah, so I will get this piece finished over the weekend because I have a deadline for it. Um, and yeah, I will share some photos as I keep working on it and getting it finished. So yeah, scissors will be alive. All of that new backing is already live on the website. I will drop some links after live. And yeah, have a fun, safe, creative weekend. And I'll be back next week with some more fun. I will see you guys then. Stay safe.